Hey, I'm Pops, and welcome Saturday morning cartoons. Hope you're having fun with me. The X-Men rewatch, the Batman animated series rewatch, just having fun doing this. And after this, make sure you come back around, check out the Pops channel. Resolute Germ has a extensive conversation with me about cartoons, what he does over on his channel, some things that maybe you're not aware of, things that are hard to find, those kinds of things. I think you'll enjoy that a lot. And of course, the end of this video, as we've been doing, play some retro commercials and ads for you, kind of take you back to that nostalgia feeling that we all had when we were watching Saturday morning cartoons regularly. And if you've never experienced that or didn't know, I give you a little taste of what it's like being inside this old man's head. So, Batman animated series rolls on. This one's called Catscratch Fever. It's a Catwoman issue send up here where we get Selena Kyle on trial for her Catwoman crimes. And the judge is basically going to throw the book at her. You can definitely feel that this is really going to go very, very badly. She's going to get, 25 years in prison. Doesn't matter if she's doing animal rights. It doesn't matter if she's doing all these kinds of things. She even helped Batman save the city. That was the very, very beginning, right? Back with Red Claw and the plague, those kinds of things. So you have a lot of um, fans of hers in the courtroom because the judge ultimately goes, look, we're going to put you on 5-year probation, but you cannot don the Catwoman costume. You can't break the law. You are not allowed to do this, right? Now, we see Bruce, which is interesting because we get the other side of the Bruce Batman thing that really, really they latch onto in the live action films. And that is these ladies fall in love with Batman, right? He's the bad boy, he's the superhero, he's this iconic figure. Bruce, of course, is always in the shadow. So for someone to fall in love with Batman, not surprising, but someone falling in love with Bruce, that's the thing he would like to be able to say has happened. So when Alfred and him are having an exchange about that, he's sort of like, yeah, we'll see. She likes Batman, not me. I'm like, oh, wow, that's good. It's deep. Now, Selena, she's going to go back to her apartment. She's going to find Maven there, and the cat, Isis, her little pet cat, is missing, right? Window is left open. She's gone. So now you have this, she goes around with a photo. She's trying to, find the cat, and she comes across basically these thugs, and they're basically snatching up cats, and they're trying to play it up as though they don't want strays on the street. It leads to some confrontation, and Batman does ultimately arrive because he's been spying on it. And by the way, hopefully I can get the right frame so you can see that beautiful cinematic shot with the building. The cape is flowing. He's there, right? Those shots say so much without having to have dialogue. And I wish Hollywood could understand that. Like, I don't need to go through a whole bunch of exposition about what you're doing. All I need to do is have those shots. They work good for trailers too. I just don't know why we can't have more of them. They get them every now and again, one per movie or so. All right. Anyway, Renee Montoya has to show up, do the police thing. Selena gets arrested again. And then we get the backstory. So then we find out what's really going on. We get Ed Asner again, Roland Daggett, and they're working on this sort of viral strain. They're going to inject this large dog. And when they use this toxin on this dog, it makes this dog completely bonkers, like feral, like almost like rabid, right? And they have this sort of plan of doing this to these animals. And you see Isis is obviously there. She's been captured and she's going to get injected. And when all that happens, basically it's going to create this outbreak that's going to be through Gotham. Now, Selena gets out. Bruce is the one that posted the bail. And Selena is like, listen, you can't be doing this. She's only worried about what's going on with these thugs, and obviously this leads to sort of the Daggett investigations and Daggett labs, and it leads Bruce to talk to Lucius, which really hasn't been a major player a lot. He comes and goes; it's fine. I don't think it's terrible to have Lucius involved, but not be a major player in the show. I think it's great to see that he's at least there. But Selena is going to do her Catwoman thing. She breaks in Daggett Labs and she does find Isis and release her, but the virus has already infected her. She bites Catwoman. So now you start to see what will this thing do to humans? And it's done through this bite. And it's kind of like what we saw before with the Dr. Moreau sort of episode, right? The experimentation. Be careful what you want for. You're a cat woman. But what if we actually transform you to Catwoman? Well, what if we transform you into a feral animal, just like the one you're role playing as the supervillainess? So This is got the general tension there before Batman arrives, figuring out that there's basically this big plan to infect the dogs and the cats, get them out there, and then of course they're going to be able to sell an antidote, and that's how they're going to make a bunch of money. Now, what what ends up happening though is this great scene where Batman is got this struggle with this big dog, kind of like a Rottweiler, right? And he has this antidote, but kind of gets away from him, and they end up on this ice, and this battle is amazing because he does manage to spray the dog, and the dog immediately gets him to stop. He calms down, but then the ice breaks, and they're in the water, and you have Batman's got to grab the antidote, save the dog. Then he has to figure out how not to end up in harm's way where the thugs have them. They have him. They have the high ground. Let's quote some Obi-Wan, right? He has high ground to shoot Batman, and instead he grabs their legs, shoots them, they fall on the ice, so now he has to save them as well, right? So all of this transpires before he can get to save Catwoman. And I think that this is a really interesting episode because it's simple in some ways, but then you have little elements that move forward the Batman Catwoman relationship, Bruce's motivations on love and what he wants to have longer term. You do see how Catwoman is sort of like an anti-hero in Gotham, right? She is someone who is not she is a thief, but she's not evil and malicious trying to destroy all of Gotham, right? She has her sort of Robin Hood mentality, this pro animal activist mentality that could be very much at the expense of others, but all that kind of plays out. And then you have, of course, this investigation at the end of the episode. The Daggett's going to be under investigation. um, ISIS is, you know, it is what it is. But now you have uh, ISIS being lowered down on this balcony and jumps in her arms and realizes that Batman saved ISIS as well and was able to do that. And it was really a sweet moment in the grand scheme of this, because I think it's sometimes we lose that in life, right? The little things, like that's kind of like this cliche. But I do enjoy that, right? So I do enjoy uh, this episode. I'm not going to put this in my top tier or anything like that. I think it's very serviceable. It's a good time. Again, the voice cast, Ed Asner was such a great choice. I think that it's one of those things where the director, Boyd Kirkland, who's done several of these episodes, um, he was trying to figure out ways probably to kind of like manage the social messaging, the political correctness of all this and animal activism and animal cruelty and kind of like that. How can you do that in a way for kids, but also make it digestible for adults and also not like make it about that, make it about the politics? Like it's part of the story. Let's focus on what we can control. We can villainize a company that is being evil. It doesn't mean all companies are evils. We don't have to have a conversation about capitalism or society and democracies or like we could do. So I think this is where the genius of the show manages it perfectly. We don't have to have a close up like in Batman, where white privilege and we don't have to do that. We can do it in a way where all of this is intertwined in the plot very naturally, very normally, and safely. So like I did last time, I got some good feedback on that. So let me quickly um, pull up. Oh, let me put that back here. I'm sorry. It was sitting right there. I just need to swap it. There we go. Got to pause it and overlay. All right. The Batman. A couple of screens and a couple of images. Court case. I think any of us are really that thrilled. Maven and looking for her cat. There, this is the thug. This thug is really horribly drawn. I'm not sure what they were going for with her design. So if there was a complaint, I just thought her character design was just kind of strange. Anyway, so this is kind of how all this plays out. There's Renee Montoya showing up for the arrest, and there's Daggett, and there's the pointy nose villain with the bowl cut, and then we get to what I want to get to is when you end up with this is the lab. Here's ISIS attacking her. They do give Catwoman like this bright green eyes, don't they? All right. So then you have all of this that kind of gets out into the open, her hallucinating and being ill. And then you get to what is really the crux, him on his investigation. And then when you get this ice sequence, which is just tremendous. I love it. Yeah, I loved all of this. This was really, really good. And putting Batman in situations that seem very natural and challenging. Yeah. And you can see that, the ice is breaking and Batman is having to save everybody. He's there struggling with this dog, but then the ice is going to break. So he ends up having to deal with that. Catwoman, Selina's looking on from the building. He's in the water, as we see. And so that was what they're doing. So the thugs are waiting for him. They don't know where he is. So what he does, he goes up to where the ice is. He kind of pushes it gently to catch his breath. Again, clever stuff in a kid show. It can be done rather easily. So all this kind of plays out pretty nice. Then this is the end when Selina gets her kitty cat back. So let's take the overlay down. Notice that there's no generic background, right? My biggest criticism of a show like Invincible was how distracting so much of the show is, where they don't even bother giving a background. There are segments of the show where there's just like plain color as a background. It's supposed to just be like the hallway, but there's nothing on a wall. It's so rare that you're in a place where that's the case. I don't know. So this is so beautiful. Look at the ornate details that they go with. They have reflections and stuff worked into where the glass is. People, if people like hesitate at all on why this is such a great show or why we love it, look, they put the snow has formed on 3 floors down from the roof as Batman gets away or swings away. Let me go back to here. It's not wanting to play nice. Why is it not doing that? Oh, well, okay. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this episode, this show. I will tell you this. I enjoy the show. Hope you do too. I'm going to be able to hit you up with some more commercials and some fun times. As I mentioned before, Resolute Germ will be on after this, so make sure you stick around for that. Thank you again for watching. I'm loving my Saturday morning cartoons time with you guys. Hope you're enjoying it. Keep those recommendation things coming. We'll try to put together something fun for you guys. Take care. I am Pops.
We'll return after these messages.
Get ready for serious action. It's Batman at his best. The Bat Signal Jet seeks out the evil Scarecrow. Batteries not included.
Scared Scarecrow? Fire! Gotta go!
But Infrared Batman will finish him off. The best just got better. Batman.
Oh, boy, it's finally here. Disappearing cream. I'll make myself invisible and get all the yummy tricks I want.
Our fruity-flavored tricks are floating away.
Now I can get tricks everywhere.
This just in. Someone's taking all the tricks.
And when I collect it all, I'll have a giant fruit-shaped feast.
Only you kids can keep the fruity-flavored part of this complete breakfast from disappearing forever.
How?
By making the rabbit reappear using this rabbit revealer in marked boxes of tricks.
Like cartoon characters, famous places, sports. I got some of them right here, with the reels out of the packets. Now, find the cartoon characters.
I found that on Duck. Popeye and Scooby-Doo. Bugs Bunny.
What about you?
Is Washington Monument a cartoon character?
GAF Viewmaster, over 500 three-reel packets available, all purchased separately.
Let's get out of here, Han Solo. Careful, Luke Skywalker.
Introducing Death Star World. 2 play sets in 1. New from Star Wars Micro Collection line. 14 die-cast figures and action poses included.
Death Star Escape has an elevator and a cannon that explodes. Wow! It connects to the Death Star compactor. It's you and me, Ben Kenobi. Watch this! Oh, no! The wall! Run for it! Beat it!
Death Star World from Star Wars Micro Collection line. Play sets also sold separately. Figures included. New from Kenner.
The evil Mr. Cobra Con has you under my power.
I, Stratos, will obey!
He-Man, Stratos, and Cobra Khan each sold separately.
Your evil mist won't make a slave of He-Man. Oh, yeah? One more blast of my hypnotizing mist, and now you're gonna see real power, Cobra Con.
Cobra Khan figure is new from the Masters of the Universe collection. Other action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.